this was going on really well until COVID.
Okay.
So COVID really hit really hard for many musicians.
Okay.
So, and there was a point I even thought, did I really make the right choice of coming to music full time? Because I could see people struggling. There are musicians who were completely dependent on concerts, and all of a sudden there is no concert, right? So everyone got into trouble. They got into different job roles, and I could see a lot of people asking for something or the other thing to do. I could see well-established musicians selling their instruments.
It was that bad?
It was really bad. I posted my photo where I was on a hospital bed after surgery. I just posted this on a story, both on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
So, sorry guys, I have to take a break from this series. The only reason is I met with an accident. I've undergone this surgery. I'll bounce back soon. One simple message. I had to post that. I have this screen sharing which I want to show you this. I had tears that day. See, he was basically into accompanying main artists.
Okay.
So the respect given, it was not that great.
Okay.
Those times things were not so easy. The communication part, the rehearsals part, and he was into business also. So he's like, getting into music profession will not earn or give you that name and fame required.
Right. In my experience, or rather limited experience that I've had working with a group of people, there are always times when you can be betrayed sometimes. Probably betrayal is a very strong word, but things may not go the way that you had planned.
Right.
Has that happened to you, sir, in your journey?
Yeah, but I don't want to really talk in depth about this. But yes, we have experienced it. It was just a few months I took this decision of becoming a full-time musician. Though, as I told you, if you want to enter music full-time, venture yourself into different directions.
In our first episode on the Midnight Lab, we had the absolute pleasure of welcoming a truly special guest, my good friend Sriharsha Ramkumar sir. It is most likely that you may have come across his mesmerizing flute covers on social media and probably been charmed by it. But the stories behind those notes are incredible. Our conversation was deep and heartfelt as we discussed into his humble beginnings, the challenges he faced, and the passion that always drives him forward. He, like always, reminded me that no matter how tough the journey gets, with a lot of dedication and love for what you do, you can truly achieve greatness. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Sriharsha sir, welcome to the Midnight Lab. I am so grateful that you took some time out for us. Thank you.
Welcome, Suraj.
How are you
Thank
doing, sir?
Doing good. How are you?
All well, all well. Thank you so much, sir. You are an influencer, sir, a great performer. You have performed in about 1,500 concerts worldwide. And then you still have the time to be a guru to so many students who are in different countries. How does it feel for you, sir?
I mean, it feels really good, and I see there's a lot of responsibility to have all these achievements in hand. So, I still feel I'm a student of music. Lots to achieve still.
That's very generous of you, sir. All right, sir. So then let's get right into it. Please tell us how your journey started.
Okay, so it was when I was like 4 years old. My dad is a mridangam artist.
Okay.
So my grandmother was a violinist. I mean, she's still a violinist. She's not playing because of her age. She's 93 plus now.
Okay. Nice.
And my great-grandfather, my father's grandfather, so he was a violinist.
So you come from a musical
family. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So my dad had actually gone through a lot of struggle during his music profession, concerts, and all those things. He never wanted me or my brother to enter this music profession, basically.
If I may ask, sorry to interrupt you, sir. If I may ask, can you call out what those struggles were?
See, he was basically into accompanying main artists.
Okay.
So the respect given, It was not that great.
Okay.
Those times things were not so easy. The communication part, the rehearsals part, and he was into business also. So he's like, getting into music profession will not earn or give you that name and fame required
Right.
if you don't dedicate complete time and complete energy to this profession. So he's like, you have to study, you have to achieve something in your graduation, do something, and then music was never his cup of tea. After, for at least for me, he didn't want me to get into music.
Okay.
So
And
when-
roughly, sorry, this was roughly around 1990s, 1995?
yeah, around when I was like 3-4 years. So
Okay.
yeah, so we were actually going on a bike ride. My father, my mom, and I was going on a bike ride. I'm not sure if you have heard, there is a annual function that happens near Fort High School.
Okay.
So there was a flute concert that was happening in that, it's a ticketed event,
Okay.
And I asked my dad to stop the bike there, and I asked him to take me inside. And he's like, no, it's already late. We'll have to get home.
Okay.
And I made a mess out of, everything. I said, I just want to listen to this concert.
So that was kind of the spark. That was kind of the instance which created a spark in you?
Not for me, maybe for my father.
Okay.
So he thought there could be some interest for him in music. So
Okay.
actually, he didn't take me inside.
Uh,
What we did, I still remember this. He parked the bike outside the venue. There was speaker everywhere. You see, 90s, we had
Right.
this cylindrical speakers around.
Yeah, the loud ones.
loud
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
So we just stood near that speaker,
Okay.
spent nearly 2 hours just near that speaker because it was a ticketed event. He was not sure if it is really worth going inside.
Okay.
So we spent good amount of time. I was I slept till the almost at the end of the concert. I was peaceful. I slept and we came back home. So that
Okay.
was the first part. And he was not sure if I'm going to learn flute, because he was a mridangam artist.
Right.
My grandmother was a violinist. His great grandfather was a violinist. So he was not sure which, section I would enter. So he thought maybe this guy is kind of interested in music, and that's the first, step towards music for me.
Okay.
Around 4 years. So this is when it actually started. At the age of 6, when I was in first standard.
Okay.
This is 1993, August 21st. I
Okay.
remember the date.
Okay.
So my neighbor, she's I would say she is the one who actually took the decision to join me for flute.
Okay.
So we had a guru who had come all the way from US, who had settled in US for 7 years. And then he came here. And fortunately, he was staying just behind our house.
Okay.
So they wanted her grandson to join flute, and we were very close. We are very close even today. His name is Anil.
Okay.
So she wanted me to join along with him.
Hmm.
So she came home and she discussed this with my parents, saying, this person is here. He's a guru. He's all the way from US and he's a well-known flautist. Why don't you join Harsha for this? We are anyway sending Anil. She is the one who actually purchased the book, made the initial payment to the guru, got me a flute.
Okay.
She took the decision. My father was like, no, let us give him some more time. It is too young for him to take this decision. Let him concentrate on studies. But that lady, I would say she is the one who actually said, no, you can't wait anymore.
Okay.
Let's take this forward. So we had that guru invited to their place, not even my place. Right? So he came to my friend's house. So he got us 2 flutes. That time, the cost of one flute was 100 rupees.
1993.
93.
Okay.
It was not even a very professional flute, but that's how you get started.
Okay.
100 rupees flute,
Which was still a big deal at that point in time,
Yeah,
if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
100 rupees, and the fees was 50 rupees per
Okay.
month. My dad is like, 50 rupees, we get 15 dosas. Do we really have to spend 50 rupees for you?
Okay.
Okay.
The comparison is great. So music training to eating. Yeah. The comparison is absolutely great. Okay.
And our guru, his name is Vidwan M.S. Srinivas Murthy. He's still alive. He's around 93, 94 years now. I got a chance to meet him very recently.
Okay.
So what he did was like, the first thing you do is take the flute and try getting the sound.
Okay. Which is like the basic thing when if you want to play
very
flute.
first step, we were too young to understand the theory, history, background, or
Yeah.
whatever, right? So for adults, we start with all those things.
Okay.
As a kid, what you do? Take the flute.
6-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Of 6-year-old. Okay.
Take a flute, get the sound.
Okay.
I didn't get it.
Like most of them for sure.
No, my friend got it. In the first
Ah.
attempt, he was getting it.
Okay.
I didn't get it.
Okay.
It's like I was frustrated to the core. Okay, no problem. And we have a custom, we don't stop on day one. We continue on day two also.
Okay.
So anything that you learn from day one, you have to do it on day two also.
Okay.
The learning part, anything that you start. We call it Dviti Vigna or Dviti Igna. So the second day also, you will have to do something. Even if it's 1 line or 1 minute, you have to meet your guru and continue your learning.
So
or else there will be a break.
So in your case, on day one, you're not able to get the sound out of the flute.
Hey, nothing happened on day two also.
Okay, fascinating, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened was, interestingly, my father was learning Mridangam under his guru called BP Srikantan, Vidwan BP Srikantan.
Okay.
So he's a very famous Mridangam artist and a self-learned flautist.
Okay.
Self-learned, and he was a flute maker by himself.
Self-learned. Okay.
Self-learned, basically. And he was a flute maker by himself. He used to make flute out of passion. My father's guru, but he was never teaching anyone. So my father, when he started performing Mridangam for his guru, where he was playing flute.
Okay.
So he had seen his guru pick up the flute, getting the sound and things like that. So my father started taking the same flute, which my guru gave, and he started playing. Like, how are you playing?
Okay, without any prior training.
No training, absolutely. So he just started, not any swaras, basically.
Okay.
He just started getting the sound, clean sound, that too. Getting a clean sound is a first milestone.
Okay.
If you get the sound, that's a major headache for a student, a teacher who teaches a kid online. Making them get a clean sound. But when you're in front of the guru, you're not getting this. The second day, I got a proper beating from my guru. Those days we were having
it was a different kind of learning altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. So second day, I was not getting the sound. I took the flute, I started dancing, and my guru, he gave on my...
Okay.
I was crying. I came back home. Then I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to continue this.
Okay.
Then, my father gave me some tips like, try doing this, take it slow, you will get it. Then slowly I started getting sound. So that's where my...
How many days did it take for you to get a clean sound out of the flute?
3-4 days, maybe. 3-4 days.
Okay.
I never gave up, basically. So the very simple tip of getting the sound is, everyone would have done this in our childhood days. Take a pen cap or a bottleneck and produce a sound.
Right.
The same technique applies here. So if I give this example to anyone sitting online, they do it immediately. So
when you said that, it kind of struck me. That's what we used to do as well, using the pen cap, Reynolds pen cap, and all those pen caps basically at that time.
So this is how I started learning. I got the sound, clean sound, and the next immediate challenge in playing Carnatic flute was the fourth note, which is called Ma.
Okay.
The crazy note. The first three notes are very easy. Sa, Re, Ga.
Okay.
Right? So for Ma, you'll have to close all the holes. And we were very small. Our fingers were very small.
You're still 6 years old when you're doing
old.
this. Okay.
See, we don't have anything called 98%, 99%. It's either 100 or 0.
Okay, you do it or you don't do it.
Yeah, the sound of the note which you will have to get, if you have to get that perfect sound 100%, then you will have to close the required holes by 100%. Or else it is 0.
Okay.
As simple as that. Then again, for 1 week, I struggled for getting Ma.
I'm sure you would have got some more beatings.
Beatings every class. We were having like 2 classes every week.
Okay.
And we were good friends, so we were having good time going to class. We were learning. That's how it
This
started.
was with your friend Anil, you're referring
Anil, my close friend Anil.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm very thankful to Anil and his family even today. His grandmother is the one who took the decision and made me join this journey at that time. Or else, I'm not sure if my dad would have taken this bold step of searching
because of
for
his
a
own experiences.
Guru by himself. Things were not easy at that time. He was busy in his own world. He was into business. So I'm very grateful to Anil and his family, basically.
Right. And back then, if I, from what I've heard or what I've seen people say is, music was not considered as one of the viable professions for earning. It was basically a profession, not even a profession, it was something that you would do out of your passion or
Correct.
something related to arts. That's how it was perceived in those days.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
And in that learning process as well, my dad was like my pillar. He stood next to me for every step of my learning journey.
Okay.
Uh, so whatever was taught in class, I was playing it just like that. And one very simple advice which my dad gave me today, I mean that day, it's like it still runs in my mind. I keep telling my students, everyone, that's very simple advice. Whatever your teacher is teaching you, practice it in a way nobody else can play it better than you, including your guru.
Mm.
Simple advice.
Mm.
You're learning an exercise, right?
Right.
Say, for example, it has to be practiced in 3 different speed. Speed 1, speed 2, and speed 3. You play that speed 3 in a way, it is 100%, and even Lord Krishna cannot cross. If you ask Lord Krishna to play that exercise in speed 3, you are no different than Lord Krishna.
Okay.
This is the advice which still runs in my mind. Anything that I learn, I keep this in mind and then practice.
Okay. That's very intense. So in other ways, to do whatever you just said, number one, I think you need to have blind faith on your guru. You need to believe what your guru is teaching you.
Right.
Have blind faith basically, and then continue with practice until you are able to get it right. That's basically the mantra.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, trusting your guru and taking his path of whatever guidance he's giving is absolutely necessary. Apart from that, my guru was very lenient. He always allowed us to explore
Okay.
whatever we wanted. He was giving us he was forming a skeleton. Now it's up to you to take it to the next level. So the compositions, whatever he was doing, was presentable to the audience. But my dad, he used to bring me a lot of cassettes around that time. We didn't have DVDs, CDs, or anything. No YouTube, nothing.
Cassettes itself was a
cassettes was
privilege
like-
in that time, if I
Yes,
remember correctly,
absolutely.
93s. Yeah.
So Dr. N. Ramani,
Hmm.
he was my idol.
Okay.
He's still my idol. So,
Okay.
So Dr. N. Ramani had 150 plus albums around that time.
93. Okay.
Yeah, in 93 to 2000 time.
Okay.
So 150 plus albums, and I have all the collection.
Even till this day.
Everything, he used to. We were not asking him gift. So every time he used to come from work, he used to get a cassette.
Nice. Okay. So that was the gift for you.
Day and night, we have this cassettes running in our house. Every day we do that. The lessons that you're learning. There is a stage where we reach varnams.
Okay.
Varnams. We start with verses, sarle verse, dhatu verse, genti. Verses are exercises.
Okay.
So after you complete exercises, then we have alankaras, and then we have small compositions called geetams, swarjatis, and then the next level of learning is varnams.
Okay.
Varnams are basically, stepping up on stage. Even today, we start our concert with one of the varnam,
Okay.
right? So varnams are complex compositions. Basically, the more varnams you learn, the better you get at the instrument.
Okay.
We have 1,500 plus varnams basically.
Okay.
So when I started learning varnams, the first step, what my father did was, whatever varnam I started learning, he was looking into those names in the cassettes. That will be the very first item in the cassette, basically. It's like a sound check for everyone. So you
Right.
start, a bigger concert will always start with a varnam.
Is it? I may be wrong about this, but is it the alap that you're referring to?
No,
is
no,
it?
it's not
Alap is different.
It's
Okay.
alap is different.
Alap is different.
It's a composition. Alap is a improvisation that you do.
Okay.
So varnam is a composition again.
And irrespective of whether it is the Carnatic music or Hindustani
Now,
music,
Hindustani
it is
will
different.
have a different this thing. For Carnatic, we have something called varnams.
Okay.
Varnams is a stepping stone for your concert, basically. We start with the varnam, so all instruments will get in sync,
Understood.
basically. The
Okay.
shruti, like how we did the warm-ups here. The same way. Warm-ups, basically. You go to gym and do warm-ups. The same
Right.
way, we have something called varnams where everyone will warm up. So
Right.
these varnams, when I was learning varnam, it was kind of plain. No one will teach you complex concert level varnam to just get started. But the cassettes that I was listening to, I was keeping Dr. N. Ramani as my idol. So that time he was the one who has achieved so much, made a lot of name, a very frequent concert person, traveling around the world. He was given citizenship in US for the achievements he has done. So very, very divine person, I would say. So I was listening to one of the Varnams which was presented by Dr. N. Ramani the very first
Okay.
time. Other compositions you'll not have any idea because it's not learned. You have not learned it, right? So the Varnam that you have learned and the Varnam that Dr. N. Ramani is performing, you can relate.
Okay.
So one lesson is done for me and I'm listening to the concert level version which is performed by Dr. N. Ramani.
Okay.
There is 100% difference.
Hmm.
I didn't sleep for 3 nights. Like, Appa, what is this? I mean, this is what I'm learning. This is what I've been taught. And this is what I'm listening.
It's completely different.
Totally different. Okay, what do you want? I need the same scale flute. Whatever I have is not sufficient. Okay, I'll get it. Next day he got it. The next immediate day. He asked me which scale you want. I said scale 3.
Okay.
That's what Dr. N. Ramani uses. I was having only one flute, which is scale 4. He went straight Aruna musicals. I had taught him Saptaswaras.
Okay.
He played that. He thought everything is right. I still have
You
that flute.
taught this to your father
Yeah.
at the age of 6. Okay. Nice.
He's like, what do I have to test if I have to get a flute?
Okay.
I said, you play all the swaras. If everything is coming out clean, just bring it. Simple.
Okay. Fascinating. Okay.
Yeah. See, he got me that flute. The next day, cassette, rewind, stop, pause, play, rewind, stop. And I reached a point, there is no difference between me and Dr. Ramani sir that time. Playing it 100 times, practicing.
Okay.
So that was the first step of me, going to a next level, basically of presenting a Varnam. This, I didn't even tell my guru that I'm doing this, but this is what, as a parent, my dad inspired me to do. So I took a book, I took a pen, the notes that was done to me, the improvisations that was done by Ramani sir, I just made a note of all these things. I just practiced it. That gave a different level altogether. So every Varnam, I started doing it.
And how many days did it take for you? Do you remember?
I think around 3-4 days.
That's
It's a
all, okay.
Varnam that you learnt already and now you're mastering
You're
it to
perfecting it basically.
a whole new level, basically.
Okay.
So like this, I started doing it for all the compositions that my guru had covered. Then I started learning something new, which was not even done to me. Just, my father used to sit next to me. He used to do all the pause, play, rewind. And I used to write all the swaras. That's something that everyone can't do, Say, for example...
Sorry, I'll just interrupt you. You mentioned about writing swaras. Can you talk about what that process is all about?
Yeah.
Because there are many people who don't understand that.
Right. So we have this milestone called Swaragnana.
Okay.
Swaragnana is a process where you are in a position to decode any song to basic notes.
Okay.
You listen to the song and you start writing it into a basic note.
The swaras that are basically in that song.
forms, yeah.
Right. Okay.
So this is a milestone. Not everyone will have this. And I figured it out only when I was writing the swaras for the Varnam that I was mastering.
Okay.
That was a biggest milestone. Not everyone will have it. And I'll tell you another interesting story. I was already in the process of learning Varnams. My brother was 4 years or 3 years. Around that time, he had the Swaragnana by birth without any training.
God gift. Okay.
Yeah. There was a van which was taking a reverse every day at night.
Okay.
He was sleeping. Every day he used to sleep early, right?
Okay.
When the van goes in the reverse direction at around 9:30, 10 p.m., he will sit and start telling this for us.
From the sound of that van?
Yes.
Okay. So you just listen to the van's sound and he would basically tell you the swaras of that.
Yes.
Okay. And this was when he was 4 years.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. Amazing. Okay.
So Swaragnana is a gift that, fortunately both me and my brother have it. So I'm not sure if I had it by birth, but I figured it out when I started writing this swaras, listening to the cassettes. But my brother had it by birth, and it was tried and tested by several musicians. So my father was like, maybe he's singing some random shit. So
Yeah, maybe humming to some local songs that you would have heard on the tape recorder. Okay.
So he took him to some professional musicians, and where he was playing around, the musician was playing some music, and he was aram se decoding it to swaras, and they were all surprised. So that was his journey is totally different. When he is in India, maybe you can have him.
Absolutely. I would love to meet him now. Maybe I'll take my car for a reverse and see what sound it makes, and he can write down the swaras for that. But yeah, please continue. Please
Yeah.
continue.
So yeah, I mean, that was my father is like a backbone for everything. So
Yeah.
we started writing the swaras for all the new songs. We had our own playlist for the first concert.
Okay.
So I was ready.
And what age was this when you did your first concert?
1996.
And you were what, 8 years old? 8, 10, 8,
Yeah.
8 years old.
87. Yeah, around 8-9 years.
I don't remember what I was doing when I was 8 years old. Okay. And you're already performing in a concert at
Yes.
this age.
So
Okay.
I was ready for a 2-hour long concert. And
Okay.
my father's cousin organized this for me. And he was a musician by himself. basically.
Okay.
So it was a full-fledged concert in Devgiri Temple, Banshankari.
Okay.
So we had a full jam-packed crowd, and we had a accompanying artist on violin. We had mridangam artist. My father didn't play mridangam. Basically, he wanted to sit in front of me and support me.
Okay.
So he said, I'm not getting into this field again, but I will support you.
So
in
by
whatever-"
this time he had already come out of that field.
yes, he was
Okay.
completely into business. All his mridangam was on the shelf, upper
Okay.
shelves,
Okay.
completely fungus attacked, and no, he was not into.
He's
playing anymore.
completely out
Yeah.
of it right now. Okay.
And I didn't want him to play next to me because I was dependent on him. I want to see him. I want to see his tada. So this is my first concert. You need all those support, moral support.
Right.
If
right.
my father was not there, if somebody else is talking to him, I would feel nervous.
Right.
That's how it was.
Because he was your
basically.
guru, he made you comfortable. He kind of introduced music to you in many ways.
Yes.
Okay.
So that time he was talking to all the getting an accompanying artist is never easy for any concert for that matter.
Okay. Even till this date.
Even till this date, you can only say yes to a concert if your accompanying artists are available. So it's not
Okay.
if you are available. If all of them are available, then only it's a successful event. So he used to do all the job of calling them, paying them from the pocket. We were not even asking what I'm getting basically. So
That was going to be my next question. Were you paid anything at that point in time?
so that was a concert that was purposefully defined for me to get into the stage, right? So
Okay.
we only invested mostly. So it was
Okay.
like we gave some donation to the temple, and we had this.
So it was more of an experience
yeah.
for you rather than making money event.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
And my father wanted to record this complete concert. We had this big tape recorder in front of me,
And did you record? Did he record that?
It was recorded
Okay.
basically.
Okay.
I mean, first concert is always a good memory. I don't know if he still has all the cassettes of all the recordings which we had done. Slowly what happened, we wanted to get rid of these accompanying artist trouble. We started getting concerts.
Okay.
I performed several temples. We were traveling Tumkur. We had our own temple in Kallur. Kallur is a place which is, Gupi Taluk, near Gupi Taluk. So we had a temple there. We still have it, founded by my grandfather. My grandfather was a homeopathy doctor.
Okay.
So though he was not a musician, he was a big fan, basically,
Of music. Okay.
of music, and a great supporter for me. Apart from my father, he is the next person. Both my father and my grandfather, both of them were getting cassettes. Not just my father.
Understood. Okay.
And every concert that I had,
Mm.
my grandfather used to take an auto and come by home, and he used to give his car to me. You can go by car, I'll go by auto.
And he would give his car at what age to you? I mean, would he ask you
for
to?
the entire team? Basically,
Oh,
my
okay.
father, my mom, we were all going together.
Oh.
So he used to complete his clinic hours, and he used to come by auto. He was 85.
Having a car, he would give it to you so that
Yeah, he
you
had a
guys could-
driver also.
Okay.
The entire, he used to give everything. The driver.
Okay.
He was like that much fond of music, and
That was his way of supporting you. Okay. Nice. Okay.
And I was not very happy with the flutes that I had. I was discussing with that, with my parents, and I think this was heard by my grandfather.
Okay.
I was like, "Where do you want?" I was not even sure because there was no internet to search who's
Back
a
then, yeah.
good flute maker or whatever. Then I think somebody had given this information. There's one good flute maker in Malleshwaram.
Okay.
I said, "Let's go. I'll take you."
Okay.
So we went. My grandfather took me there, and so that person came. It's like usually what you do at 7-8 years, you take one flute.
Mm.
You bring all the flutes, he said. My grandfather,
Hmm.
he was a musician, that flute maker also.
Okay.
He was like, whatever you want, you take. Whichever scale you want, you take. That's how he presented me. I used to love collecting flutes even today. I mean, it's like you're never satisfied having.
I've actually had the opportunity to see some of those, and I was so it was so fascinating, and it was the collections that you had. They
Right.
were really amazing. Sorry, please go
Yeah,
on.
I mean, that's how he supported. I was having lot of flutes in my collection back then, where not many had this privilege, but I was just loving that process, getting new flutes, trying them out, trying new songs.
Okay.
That's how my journey continued, basically.
Okay.
And slowly, my brother started playing violin.
Okay.
His journey is totally different. That'll take a full episode, so I don't want to talk too much about his journey.
Right.
But we figured it out that he is into violin.
Hmm.
So we got rid of one of the accompanying artists.
Hmm.
So
Because you had your brother, right?
so my brothers started taking up the stage.
Hmm.
What we did, we both of us said, we don't need any other mridangam artist. You get your mridangam from the shelf.
To your father.
Yes,
Okay.
as simple as that.
Okay. So your father introduced you to music. By then he had quit the music. Again, both of his sons made him come back to music.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
And three of us gave more than 500 shows together.
In how many years? What was the time span of these 500 shows that you're talking
Say,
of?
Yeah, from 2002, 2003, my brother started performing with me.
Okay.
So from then till he went to US.
And this was in which year? When did
Around
you go
2014, 2015.
to? So you were very busy throughout
500, 600 concerts I'm talking is with my father, father, my brother and I.
Okay.
So apart from that, I had a band which my brother was also part of it, and we have given.
We'll
so many
probably get
other
into
shows.
that a little later. Okay. Hmm.
So together, it's more than 1,000 plus shows, my brother and I. So we talk through eyes. We don't even prepare anything. So basically, it's a complex thing that happens on stage. One line I'm playing, he knows where to stop. We change octaves, and it'll be a surprise to all of them. That's how we coordinate.
Amazing story, sir. So probably to summarize, your first introduction to music was that concert at 4 years old when you stopped your parents and you wanted to see that, watch that rather, and listen to it. Then you had this wonderful neighbor who helped you find the right guru in a way. And then basically your father also supported you in many different ways, and then your grandfather. So it was not just one person that helped you, it was multiple people that came together at different times.
Absolutely.
Who kind of contributed to your journey so far. And then, of course, you had your brother as well.
Yes.
Coming to education part, sir, if I understand correctly, you completed your BE.
Right.
And you also had a steady job in a booming industry in India right now, which is the semiconductor industry, right?
Yeah. So engineering again, I wanted to do mechanical engineering, but I had my uncle who insisted me to join telecommunications. Telecommunications was very tough.
Why not computer science, sir? That was the trend those days.
I know, but I didn't have that much good ranking as well. So
Okay, got it.
So telecommunications was one option. He said, why don't you join telecommunication? I'm anyways here to train you. He was in HMT that time.
Okay.
So I was very, very close to him. Unfortunately, we lost him at a very young age.
Okay.
He made me join telecommunications and he passed away. That was the saddest part.
Okay.
But engineering was a good journey for me as well. I made a good bunch of music friends. And here I had very clear instructions from my father. You are not even taking the flute out. You're just, you have screwed up big time in your PUC. I mean, he expected me to get very good ranking, very good college. Anyways, I got into some college.
So during your PUC, your ranking or basically your scores came down. Was it because of the time that you were spending on music, or was it something else?
Not really. I would not say nothing. The scores and music, nowhere it was related.
Okay.
Maybe if I practiced more and gave exams, I would have performed well. Even today, I tell my students the same thing. Don't give exams as a reason for not practicing. You practice for half an hour and then go for your exams. You really do well. As simple as that. It's a meditation. It's like doing pranayama. It'll never affect your learning. So nowhere music affected my studies. It was all circumstances basically around that time. I wouldn't say I was a very bad student. I did fare well. I did get good marks, but I not as expected. The expectations are more always.
Right.
So, but anyways, I got into a decent engineering college, and there was a very clear instruction that I was not supposed to play flute. No, not even supposed to reveal that I'm a flautist. In any of the circumstance that I was in, until I complete my engineering, then you can do whatever you want.
And did you do that in those 4 years?
Unfortunately, I'll tell you what happened. I joined first year, first semester was happening. We had like 4 days of engineering done, first 4 days.
Okay.
Then there is a sudden announcement. There is a talent search happening for a video fest. From video fest is happening in Hubli.
My place.
Your place.
My place, yeah. Okay.
Oh, which college is it?
BUB. Boomreddy, yes.
Boomreddy College. So all the first years, we are looking for good singers. We are looking for the talents who can take part in many of the many competitions that are happening. So you can give your names. I remember my father's words. I didn't give my name anywhere.
Okay.
And one person came from nowhere. He was like, Sriharsha, come. I am like, where are you? Who are you?
Okay, who was that person?
This guy was my senior in 8th standard. I was in 8th standard, BHS Jayanagar, 1 year that I spent, if you remember.
Right,
just 1 year.
Okay, before switching. Okay.
So this guy was in 10th.
Okay.
So there we had some competitions. I
And
was
he would have
taking
seen you.
part, and he has seen me. He knows me very well. Oh my God, I can't even say no.
Okay. And did you tell your father about it?
I went home. I mean, there was no selection criteria for me. They said, we are going to BB Boomreddy tomorrow. Pack your bags and come. I went home. I said, Appa, I'm going to Hubli. Why?
BUB, nice. Okay.
I mean, that amazing experience we had in Video Fest. I mean, though we didn't win any prize, but I was so close to all the seniors. They just loved the energy of, the flute performance, the competition that was happening, and the professionalism that was shown. And I was like, are you even competing? I thought you were a judge. That was, the compliment that I got actually. So, see, any competition, it's not just your participation; it's the entire group's participation, right? So from there on, I was there in every part of, whatever happened in our engineering college, and my father also kept quiet.
So, sir, you complete your engineering and then you join a company.
Right.
And how many years did you work at this company?
So I worked in 2 companies.
Okay.
The first one was Element 14 India Private Limited. It's a UK-based company.
Okay.
So here I worked till 2011.
Okay.
So from 2009 till 2011.
And
then from 11 till 19, I worked in Innovative Logic India Private Limited.
Okay.
It was a semiconductor company. So total 10 years of experience since I passed out from engineering.
Okay. So at what point in your life did you decide that you don't want to do that job anymore and become a full-time flautist, at the same time perform in concerts and make that as your way of earning money? Because the reason I'm asking is it's not an easy decision when you have a steady job in your hand to, although you have a lot of talent and with all the struggles that you spoke of about your father, how difficult or how easy was it for you to make this decision and switch to this field completely?
It was definitely not an easy decision to make, basically. And fortunately, my wife was very supportive in this. In 2019, I had my studio constructed. So I was recording a lot of things for my...
Prior to COVID, just a year before COVID?
Just a year before the COVID. I was recording a lot of content for my social media, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. So we were having a lot of disturbances. In the simple room we were recording using a proper condenser microphone, which used to catch up all the disturbances around. So I decided it's high time, have a soundproof studio for my own use. Do something really big.
By this time, you already have your YouTube account, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, say I had YouTube since 2012. I was not very serious about uploading things or consistently do anything
Hmm.
on YouTube. Some random videos I was
Yeah,
uploading.
YouTube was still growing or still starting up
Yeah,
at
yeah.
that time. Okay.
So
Hmm.
no, no intentions of making money on YouTube. Absolutely nothing. Because
Okay.
YouTube account was there. I was not even sure of the password.
Hmm.
Some random,
Password. Okay. Nice. Hmm.
some random
Hmm.
videos I was uploading. Hardly it was having any reach. So what happened? One point, I gave this crazy idea to my bandmates. I'm not sure if I told you this. I had the opportunity to form a very good band
Okay.
by the time I passed out my engineering. With all the members of our KSIT college.
Hmm.
So the drummer is my senior in the engineering college, and the
Okay.
guitarist is my junior. And I have the mridangam artist who was my high school classmate,
Okay.
and my brother was part of this. This was a very tight band, and we had the privilege of performing everywhere around India. We have performed in Delhi,
Hmm.
Gujarat, multiple times in Hyderabad, numerous times in Chennai, Bombay, right,
And this was
Kerala.
all right after your college or
Uh,
during your college?
Closing time of college, I would
Okay.
say.
Okay. Hmm.
And we also got a very good opportunity to perform in two shows in Dubai.
Okay.
So one was for Kannada Kuta, and another one was for a private gathering which was organized by my cousin. So it was a very big auditorium basically. So all the Kannadigas basically pulled in this, and two successful events basically.
Okay. Okay.
So we were doing really well. The concerts were happening well. We were at least doing 4 or 5 shows a month,
Hmm.
right? So
So
that
YouTube was nowhere in the picture. It was just an
YouTube,
account that you have
absolutely,
created. Yeah.
absolutely, as simple as
Hmm.
that. And I had this crazy idea: why don't we record something very professionally in an auditorium
Hmm.
and upload this on YouTube and say we can take shows if required. Maybe it can reach right people, use the
Hmm.
right tags and things like that.
Yeah.
And we invested. We were never taking full compensation that we were getting from our shows. We were just taking small amount,
Hmm.
and we were keeping it as a band fund.
Okay.
So we seniors were handling this. So we utilized this fund and we recorded around 5, 6 songs in a proper auditorium with proper lighting, proper sound, and everything. And slowly started. My account had around 8,000 or 10,000 subscribers around that time, and
2012. Are we talking about 2012 or?
yeah, around that time.
Okay.
Not very serious. 8,000, 9,000 is okay. It's a good number. Then I said, okay, I will take this. I will only upload this on my account,
Hmm.
and it already had a 8,000 or 10,000 people, so it'll reach good number of people, and that really gave us good number of shows, right? So
Okay.
that led to shows in
People
Delhi,
got to know that there is a
yes,
band like
Gujarat,
this
yes.
which performs.
That
Yeah.
around that time, if you search for a fusion band India, ours was coming on top basically.
Okay.
We performed in Bangalore Ganesha Utsav, the very popular place.
Right.
So there we performed. A lot of prestigious places we performed.
Okay.
So performances were happening 2018, 19. Till then, regular shows were happening.
Hmm.
But none of us had the guts of taking this full time. So some of the times we had to say no for the concert because of the others' availability. Someone would be traveling or some other commitment. We had to simply say no, right? So no, none of us had the guts of taking it full time.
Okay.
And I also thought I would do something on my own for my YouTube channel since it is doing well now. So I started recording content. I was doing it in my home with a lot of disturbance, and I decided to have my own soundproof studio.
Okay.
So that we got it done, and I started utilizing it. And in 2019, basically, 2017 to 19, what I did, I told my company that I'm going to be a consultant. I don't want to work full time.
Okay.
And I want to take this break of becoming a consultant where I have the flexibility to work from home, concentrate something on my own. I
Okay.
started recording courses for my, I was uploading courses on Udemy. So I started recording courses, which really got me some good revenue around that time. So also good confidence. So I told my company that I'm not going to work full time. So I'll be working as a consultant. So you have, they said, okay, fine, can do that.
Okay.
There was a salary cut because, of course, you're not giving your full
Definitely.
time, right? Many privileges were taken away. So from 17 to 19. So 19.
But by then you were also able to earn from your other gigs around.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
gigs, courses. The studio was set up. The studio was completely in function. Then one fine day, our company was acquired by a bigger company.
Okay.
So that decision, it was pending for quite some time, so it had to happen.
I'm sure it changed a lot of things for you
Yeah.
from there onwards.
So there was an offer for me to take it full time or just leave.
Hmm. Okay. Now it gets interesting. Okay. Hmm.
Why not take a break and if required then look for a job, right? So I said okay, I'll take a break. I took break. I said this is what is happening.
Hmm.
Let's do something seriously. Just getting into one field is difficult. Let's say, for example, if you're only performing, if you're only dependent on concerts, things are difficult, right? I was teaching and
From what age did you start teaching?
2011.
2011.
Seriously, online.
When you were learning, as in not playing the flute, or but when you were doing your academics, that's when you actually started learning. Sorry, started teaching.
Right.
Okay.
2011, online classes were just shaping up.
Yeah.
Skype lessons and things like that. It was not that very popular in that time. So I started teaching online in 2011. I designed my own website. I did a demo video on YouTube, which got very good recognition, more than 500K views. So I had linked this video to my website where I used to get inquiries. When I was working, I was teaching, like I decided to teach some of the students, right?
Okay.
So it started with one student a day in the morning.
Okay.
I had never seen 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. in my life around that time. So for US students, that is the time which works for them, right?
So you wake up at that time because it's evening for them?
Yes.
Okay.
So one slot became two slots became three slots became four slots, right? So then I had to say, no, I'm full. Because you're working.
Right.
The slots filled up very quickly.
So you had students, but you did not have the time to teach them at that point. Okay.
The requests were coming in like crazy, but I didn't have time to teach them. I didn't have enough bandwidth to accommodate more students. I simply had to say no, which was disheartening to an extent, right?
Right.
But I had their database anyways. So any request that used to come in, I would say if someone is leaving or if someone is taking a break, then I can let you know at the moment I'm not available. As simple as that. So what I decided, there are so many requests. Why not record the lessons and come up with something like a DVD or something which can help them, right? So I was anyways recording the content with proper equipment. I was doing it, and I saw one of my office colleagues taking a course on Udemy.
Okay.
So I was like, "What are you doing?" I just randomly went and spoke to him. Like, I'm taking this course. Which course? I asked him. Which platform? So what this platform does? What all courses can you take here? So it has everything. You want to dance? They have course. You want to meditate? They have. You want to learn guitar? They can do it. Okay. What is the prerequisites? I mean, what do they check? They have this checklist, but they're very strict. If you're okay with everything, then simply you can upload. Okay. I was very afraid to release a DVD. It can get pirated. As simple as that. Okay, why not try Udemy? So the next, I anyways had the content ready.
Yeah.
So level 1, I uploaded. It got approved in just a couple of hours. What I did, I created a link. I created an email. I had the database of students to whom I said no.
You reached out to them.
Just sent them message saying, okay, this is what I have right now, which covers around 6 months of curriculum. This is the curriculum recorded in a very professional studio setup. You can go through it.
Okay.
I mean, people started enrolling.
Okay.
And, I was able to see some revenue out of, that helped me to build my studio, professional studio. And, I decided to take a break from complete working in 2019 when I was offered full time from a company that I was working, right? So I said, no, let me do this full time. I recorded 4 levels. I recorded a couple of other courses and I started doing content for my YouTube. You have to venture into multiple streams. You just can't
come out of your comfort zone, basically.
No, you just can't basically depend on concerts for revenue, or you just can't depend on teaching for revenue. If one thing is down, something else is working, right? So, and this was not planned. It was happening simultaneously for me. I said, okay, I'll take a break. My wife said, okay, do it. Let's see. if it's not working, then we can look for a job anyways.
Mm.
At that time, even she was not working. She was completely on break.
Mm.
She was looking after my daughter, and she was concentrating on her. It was completely on my earning, so it was a little risky. My parents were absolutely against it.
Mm.
It's like, why are you quitting this?
I can understand because when you have a steady job going and with all the struggles that they would have seen,
Right.
probably anybody would say that you don't want to probably come out of a comfort zone or get into some kind of a
Correct.
trouble.
Correct.
Great. So Harsha sir, you mentioned that you had formed bands. I'm sure you would have been a part of many bands and concerts
Right.
as well. In my experience, or rather limited experience that I've had working with a group of people, there are always times when you can be betrayed sometimes. Probably betrayal is a very strong word, but things may not go the way that you had planned.
Right.
Has that happened to you, sir, in your journey?
Yeah, but I don't want to really talk in depth about this. But yes, we have experienced it.
Okay.
So the band that we formed during the college, we of course had artists coming from outside also, not just from my college, right? So when you get professional, you have to work with professionals. So you have to make it more stronger. And at one point of time, my brother had to say goodbye because he had
to travel to US.
He
Okay.
has his own journey right now. So after that, things were a little difficult. We were sharing things on stage. So if it
Okay.
was a 3-hour concert, it was never tiring for me when I had my brother accompanying me. So after he left, things got very challenging.
Okay.
The entire 3 hours was on me.
Okay.
Right?
Understood. So,
So
you.
the accompanying artists should also put in efforts to take a little part of burden which is there on me, and it has to be shared equally. So the remuneration part, everyone will get the same share, right? The burden was more on me.
Yeah. So that.
So I'll not get too much in-depth detail about it, but I said this is not the right thing to do. Everyone has to share things. Everyone has to share the burden. Either we will have a new artist who can actually help me take some load, from me. 3 hours standing and performing continuously
It's not easy. Doing anything for 3 hours is not easy.
right? So it was never easy. So I said, we'll have someone who can come. We'll take a break from concerts. We will rephrase this, just a couple of months of reforming the version 2.0 of the band, right?
Okay.
So there was some opposition for this, and things didn't go well when I said this. I think I had my point, right? So they didn't want to miss the chance of losing a concert.
Okay.
So things didn't go well around that time. We had a breakup.
Fallout basically.
And then of course eventually we got back strong with all the eventually we
Are you
had
still in touch with them? With those people?
yeah, as music friends we are,
Okay.
we talk, we see each other everywhere, so
Right. So whenever your band was dissolved, or at least for when you guys took a break for a while, was there a phase in your life where you were really depressed about things, or it kind of brought you down in any way?
a little bit.
Okay.
It was a little downside because around that time my daughter was born, and I wanted her to see a full-fledged concert as a band that we were doing, happily performing everywhere. Even before she was able to recognize me, this thing got dissolved and things didn't work out well. I was a little disappointed around that time, but there's always a new beginning, right? So then after my brother left, we had a mandolin player who plays really well.
Okay.
Today he is part of our band.
Nice.
He's taking some load off me, so he's doing the job, and we have a couple of other talents who came in. So yeah, for now, this was going on really well until COVID.
Okay.
So COVID really hit really hard for many musicians.
Okay.
So, and there was a point I even thought, did I really make the right choice of coming to music full time? Because I could see people struggling. There are musicians who were completely dependent on concerts, and all of a sudden there is no concert, right? So everyone got into trouble. They got into different job roles, and I could see a lot of people asking for something or the other thing to do. I could see well-established musicians selling their instruments
It was that
cheapers.
bad.
It was really bad.
Okay.
And it was just a few months I took this decision of becoming a full-time musician. Though, as I told you, if you want to enter music full-time, venture yourself into different directions.
Okay.
Don't follow one path. Don't say I am a performer. If something happens, you can't perform, basically.
Right.
There were times where we had online shows during this lockdown shows, where you go online on Facebook. People start getting boring. No one will
Because
watch
you don't have the same bit of interaction that you have
Absolutely.
in
So,
live crowd.
Yeah. So venture yourself into different angles.
Mm.
So what happened for me? Concerts came down. Not just for me, the entire world suffered. Right. So no one had concerts. That's okay. So my courses were selling well. Right, because COVID times, people wanted to learn something new.
Right.
So people started buying my course. So somewhere the revenue was still coming well.
What does music mean to you? We spoke of how music can be a meditation, because that's what I've heard many people say. But in your mind, when you're playing the flute, right, what goes through your mind? Number one, and what does music mean to you, and what can it do to someone?
See, for me, music is everything. So I'm talking to you, I'll be thinking about music. I'm talking to you, I'll be thinking of some song which I would be covering next. This is both good and bad.
What way is it good?
Good in the sense you are a creative person, basically. A lot of things run in your mind.
Right.
How much better you can actually present it, so that no one else can play better than you. So that still runs in my mind. Every time I want to record something, I want to make sure this is the best possible outcome.
You want to just get better at everything.
Everything,
that you do.
I'm not telling that whatever I have uploaded is the best, right? So I want to make sure I can do much better the next time.
Finding for that better version of you.
Yeah. So every time I keep thinking on those lines.
Okay.
So this happens at home. You're talking to your wife and you're thinking of something and she's asking you something and your response is not proper.
Yeah.
Right?
It happens in all the households for sure. Okay.
So this is very common in my life. So she's like, I'm talking to you, you're doing something, you're not answering. And see, you also have to catch up with the trend. You simply can't play the song that you like. You have to present something which everyone likes. Right? So for that, you also have to watch reels.
That's a good excuse for watching reels and following, watching things on social media.
I have been online on Instagram for quite some time. I've been following the trend. I'm trying to understand what goes well. What would people actually like? There are some pieces which I personally like, and you give your 100% recording it, and people may not like it.
Right.
And there are some complete nonsense numbers where you don't even need efforts, just like one time go, that becomes a super hit, takes a million hit on everywhere, right?
So I would be right to say expect the unexpected in most of the most scenarios.
Yes. So a lot of things like these innovative, creative ideas, which flute to use for this song. Should it be husky? Should it be thick? Should it be more smooth? Or should I have another person come and record this instrument? Or should I just leave it with the flute, plain flute? No, these kind of ideas. When you have a studio, when you have a microphone, and you have a solid collection of flutes, a lot of things run in your mind as a musician.
Understood. So we spoke of the good aspect of music. What do you think would be the bad aspect of it? When a person like you who is completely invested in music and has always music going through his mind, what do you think would be the bad aspect of it? You
see, bad aspect in the sense, if you're asking me in terms of career?
No, not career, essentially. So we mentioned that when I asked you, you said music is many things for you. It has good and bad things, right? Anything bad that you want to talk
Bad in
about?
the sense, if, for example, your personal life would slightly take a hit.
Yeah.
For me, I'll be more creative on a weekend. So weekday, my life is monotonous. Right?
Okay.
So weekend, I want to be completely free, spend more time in studio. But that's not happening. That will not happen in most of the cases, because your family will be waiting for you. Even they want you for your weekend plans. So they plan your weekend. So this is something which will always take a hit in a musician's
Your
life.
family life basically
Yeah.
takes a hit. That's one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
For any artist for that
Any
matter.
artist for that matter.
Okay.
So for a musician, I would suggest even all the family members who watch this, if you have a family member who is a musician, do support him. If he wants to spend time with music on a weekend, do support him. I mean, he's doing something really big. He wants to achieve something. So I would always bring this point even in my family. If I'm recording something, if I have to do something this weekend, I'm completely out of this plan. Don't disturb me. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes I will have to change my plans.
Right. So, Harsha sir, next thing that I want to talk about. So, we spoke of your guru earlier. Now, one curious question that I have in my mind is whenever you talk to any artist, they say, this is my style. This is that person's style of playing music or playing an instrument. When they say that, what do they usually refer to? And my question always is, when you're learning from a guru or when you're playing the same tune, let's say two flautists are playing the same tune, what is the style that we're talking of?
I think a lot of parameters come into picture, right from the flute that is being used, the tonal quality, the accenting part.
Okay.
Accenting in the sense.
Can you explain the accenting part of it?
Accenting is like, say, the breath, the pressure that you put in to produce the life in the flute, right?
Okay.
So random, pressure, random accenting will not help. You if you have to reduce at some point, you'll have to reduce, right? So you every line that you play, you're adding life to it. As simple as that. And this is an instrument. So basically, your goal is to match a vocal sound.
Okay.
So say, for example, what we do, there is no exclusive flute song, right? So you hear a song which is sung by a male or a female, and then you try to reproduce it.
Right.
How much closer it can get to the original song. That's where you stand out.
Right.
As simple as that.
Okay.
So you listen to a A.R. Rahman song, right? Sung by SPB sir or Hariharan sir.
Right.
And then you try it on flute. If you are happy, it's not something that it should be like, you should get a like from Hariharan. And I've got that.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Can you talk us about that?
There was one
talk us through
video.
that? Yeah.
One video which I released in one of my Instagram for my 1 minute series. So this song was sung by Hariharan, and he liked it basically.
Which in itself is the biggest compliment that you can
Absolutely,
get.
yes.
Right? Yeah, a maestro like Hariharan sir.
Yes. So the presentation is all it matters. Then as I told you, the tonal quality, the gamakams is what I call, right? The anuswaras, the gamakams, the slow nuances that you present, the pressure that you put in.
Right.
Oh, so everything should match the original sound. How much originality you have, how much closer to the original song it can get, right?
Okay.
I mean, of course, you can get more creative as well. So that's where you stand out.
Okay.
Simply playing plain swaras. People ask me for notes. Can you please give me notes for this song? I can give you, but you can't produce the same output. You have to do the required practice for it, right? Just getting notes from the internet and playing the same thing will not give any likes from Hariharan, right? Hariharan will watch 100 videos, but if he's liking something,
It's a big deal.
this is really good.
Yeah.
Right? So
Amazing. So you mentioned of practice, right? So times have changed. I'm pretty sure back in your learning days, the number of hours that you would practice would be way more than the number of hours that a student probably dedicates right now because of the busy life that
Right.
we have. So how is it? How what is the major difference that you see in terms of people learning at that point in time and people who are learning right now?
I think around that time, our distractions were less. We didn't have all these social media.
Right.
So all the time pass, or the playing that we were doing outside, apart from that, it was just practice. Now, no, even a LKG kid will have a YouTube channel, right? So I can see, I mean, it's good and bad.
Yeah.
So there are definitely good kids, good small performing artists who are doing really well with their support of gurus or parents. The Riyaz part, I mean, the fame should not just take away whatever they're doing. the practice
Too
part
much
has
of
to be, they have to put in the effort. As I told you, everything that you do should be done in a way nobody else can do it better than you.
right.
It's as simple as that. For that, if you have to practice 2 hours, do it. For that, if you have to practice 10 minutes, do it. If you think, okay, this is 10 minutes, I think this is the perfect, do it.
Right.
If you want to do 10 hours, do it.
Yeah.
Hard work, of course. If there are days where I have spent a couple of takes that I do it in my recording studio. I've taken 500 takes, 600 takes. You have to do it.
500
Takes, yeah.
for just 1 minute series that you do.
Yeah, just one line. If I'm not happy, I keep doing it. I just put that on loop. Keep playing it, keep playing it, keep playing it, keep playing it. You record and listen. You're not happy, delete it. Keep playing it, keep playing it.
Okay.
As simple as that. For 1 minute series, that 500 takes, 600 takes, people will not know what is happening in the background, right?
I know.
So practice is everything.
Harsha sir, one thing I wanted to just check with you. You also worked with some music labels, right? You have your own album that you had launched?
Yes. So the first album that we launched during our engineering days itself. So this was not under any music label. We invested our own money from our pocket. We recorded in a very professional studio. We had around 300 copies, which got sold out like hotcakes during our college fest.
Which year was this?
This is 2009.
2009. Okay.
The year I passed out my engineering. So this year I wanted to do this before I pass out.
Okay.
So this album was completely sold out with all our autographs. We had
What was the name of the album?
it's Hamsadhwani Part 1 or just it was not like, I would say, if you ask me, were you very satisfied with the output? We were satisfied for the efforts that we put in.
Okay.
So that was the first album, which was not under any name.
Understood.
So after that, I recorded an album with my brother and my father, all the three of us. We called this as Triveni Sangama.
Okay.
So this was a full-fledged recording that happened in 2012.
Okay.
And this album was under the rights of Jankar Audio. So they took the rights, and we had a very big function to release these, where we had all our gurus come in, and we had the privilege of honoring them. We invited our high school teachers.
Okay.
So they were also very proud to see this achievement. So this was available in every store wherever you go. I was very curious how this would reach people. So I would randomly just go to some a CD store around that time and ask for this, and they were like, "Are you the same guy here?" Yeah.
How did that fame change you? Did that fame change you in any way?
I mean, I was happy to do that because it was all my idea, basically, to get an album with my father, which was his dream also. I had the privilege to take him to the studio, professional recording studio, to get things recorded for him. It was a first time experience for him also.
Awesome.
So yeah, I mean, I felt proud and really good doing this.
So right now, if you look at the industry overall, there are many talents that come every day, and I'm sure in your field, there are more competitors than friends that you may probably have, right? Now, having said that, how easy or how difficult do you think it is for people who are just coming into this industry to find sources of income through the performances or through being a part of the industry?
I mean, as I told you before, it's really challenging, not just for the newcomers. It's challenging for me also.
Okay.
So I see talents who really play well, who play better than me, and sometimes I don't get sleep seeing these new guys coming in. It's a challenge for everyone, basically. So you have to stand out. So sometimes your video will not get good number of likes. It will not reach the right people. Don't get disheartened. Just keep trying. Just keep trying. If you have, but if you want to take it full time, I would always suggest you have start with a job, then do it as a side hustle. See if things work out. Get some confidence, and then venture into it. And always spread your wings to multiple directions. Don't just depend on one part or one aspect. Just like I am only dependent on concerts, or I want to only teach, or I want to do only social media. I want to make money on YouTube. Don't have any intentions. just start well, give your 100%, stand out, see, wherever it takes.
Mm.
Start as a side hustle, and then if things work out, then you can take it full time.
That's a really good advice. I think that applies to everything that we do, not just to the
Absolutely.
becoming a flautist or
Right.
any artist. Let's talk about your experience as a judge. So you've been a part of a reality show.
Right.
How was that experience, sir? I mean, you've been a performer so far. You've been a guru,
Mhm.
and then suddenly you go into judging someone.
Right.
How was that experience? Talk us through that experience, sir.
I mean, it was a privilege. In fact, I had this privilege. I got this invitation to be part of a famous reality show.
Okay.
To be part of
In Canada.
in Canada, basically.
Okay.
So I was invited to be part of their honorable jury panel.
Mm.
So the jury panel is a team of musicians who have achieved in their fields. Totally.
Right.
So,
Some well-established
Yeah,
music
yeah,
directors, singers are a part of the
yes,
reality show.
singers, achievers,
right.
not just singers. Someone who has done well in musicians in different instruments also, drummers. So from different fields basically.
Mm.
So I had the privilege of being part of this for 2 seasons, full 2 seasons. It was really good experience. I was able to see some really good talents who performed really well.
Mm.
A lot of learning from them as well, and they used to respect all the jury members. They used to take inputs from us, and
All of them, or were
not
there
all
any?
of them,
Yeah.
just a few of them, couple of them. But we were the ones who were highly respected
Mm.
because our scores are final. I mean, you are the one who give them the score,
Mm.
right? So
How difficult was that, sir? Because I've seen some of the performances there. I mean, again, from my perspective, I hardly have any knowledge of music, but there were so many great talents, some young kids as well, if I remember
Right.
correctly. And for me, I couldn't say that this performance was better or this performance was better. So how would you judge them?
See, our job was very easy.
Mm.
Fortunately, we were not the ones to decide who was the winner.
So you've been a performer, sir. You've been a guru. You have had a lot of fans. I'm pretty sure. Has there been any such instance where things have gotten a bit crazy? The reason I ask is, I was listening to a podcast where Rakesh Chaurasia sir was the guest, and one of the things or one of the stories that he shared, I was kind of dumbstruck after that. So he basically had this fan from USA of Indian origin come to him and tell him that he loves Rakesh sir's music, flute music, and he would use it when he was making love.
Wow.
Okay. And Rakesh sir even mentioned that the fan told him that without the music being turned on, he couldn't turn on. Right? And I was like, really, are there such people who there may be such people, but again, that was kind of something very, very crazy for me. So have you had any such instances?
Not as big instance as you mentioned just now, but of course there were a couple of instances which I would also love to share.
Okay.
One was during a concert that I was performing when I was very young, where my dad was not even accompanying me, where he was just taking a role of organizing the concerts
Okay.
with all the other accompanying artists. There was one show that happened in one of the prestigious temple. So the show was completed. There was one elderly female, say she was in 50s.
Okay.
She came, she put her ring to me. She gave me the ring. She said, "Give me your hand."
Gold ring.
Gold ring.
Okay.
It was there. I said, okay. And I was not even sure if it's gold. I was so young, right? So
But yeah, it's still a big deal.
Yeah.
Deal. Okay.
So after the concert, she did that, and after some time, say around 30 minutes, all the puja, everything happened. They honored us with bouquet, fruits, and everything. And I went and whispered, "Amma, that auntie give me this."
Okay,
Like,
that's when you probably would have realized how big it was. Okay.
Then I was like, wow. Then my mom said this to my father, and both of them went and like, why are you doing this? No, he's God gift. Whatever I did was a small thing.
That was their way of showing love for your performance. Amazing. Anything else? Any other?
Yes, and this was when I was kid. So I'm not sure if I told you this. I started this crazy idea of doing 1 minute series
Mm.
around COVID times. Right?
Okay.
So I was inspired by Nas Daily, where
Mm.
he was doing a 1 minute video for 1,000 days continuously.
Okay.
But unfortunately, in my field, it is not possible because you're dependent on too many things. You
Right.
can't do it continuous 1,000 days. But I
Right.
wanted to do something
Mm.
consistently, basically.
Mm.
So I called this as a 1 minute bamboo tale series, where you tell a story in the form of a tale, using your bamboo, right? So
Mm.
for 1 minute.
Okay.
So that's all it matters. Nobody will listen to a full song. Take a cream part of it, present it in 1 minute. So I named this label hashtag 1 minute bamboo tale series.
Okay.
So I started recording this in my studio, and I had my fellow artists who come home and record their parts, right?
Okay.
So the rhythm pad artist, and then I had the keyboard guy who was doing his job. I used to pay them, and my wife was like, "Why are you doing this?
Mm.
Why are you investing money? Why are you spending time on recording this? What do you get?" I don't know. I'm just doing it. I want to do.
Mm.
So after recording 15 songs, I'm not a professional mixing and master guy. I
Okay.
have a soundproof studio.
Mm.
So this complete songs will go to Chennai, my sound engineer who sits there.
For mixing and,
Mixing and
the
mastering,
post-production
yeah.
process. Okay.
So he does all this mixing and mastering. He sends me the trial, and if he's asked me if there is any changes that needs to be done. And he takes my feedback. He keeps working on it.
Okay.
So I have to pay him.
Okay.
And then for video, I go to another person,
Mm.
right? So this is complete my production. So I'm taking it solo. So I go to that person. He records the video. I go with around 20 songs.
Mm.
Right? So every 5 songs, I change the costume, record that, come back.
Okay.
So then I have the audio mixed and mastered coming here. So I mix it and edit it myself.
Okay.
So I started releasing it slowly.
Mm.
Slowly, things started getting people's attention,
Mm.
right? Yeah. So around this time, I had around 30,000 or 28,000 followers on YouTube, subscribers on YouTube.
What's it today?
It's 126,000.
Mm. Okay. Huge number. Okay. Only influencers, YouTubers would know the significance of having such a big subscriber list. Mm.
Right. My Instagram was running in thousands, just 1,100 or 1,200. My Facebook was running around 4,000 followers. I started this series.
Okay.
So slowly I started uploading videos consistently, say twice in a week, thrice in a week.
Okay.
People were waiting.
Mm.
I used to get crazy messages, and most of the social media handles I had my wife to take care of replying them. She was not working around that time. She was on break, so all my website requests,
Okay.
my social media requests, I had given her all the draft messages. She had to just send it.
Okay.
So she got busy.
Super.
So there's one instance where one female actually sent her complete profile asking if I'm available for marriage, with all the photos and.
So your wife saw it before you did. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
It's just one instance. There are many of those things that happened, but I just gave it to her. You do whatever you want. If you want to send my profile, send it.
Amazing. It must have been crazy. I just can't imagine the conversation that may have happened.
I mean,
with
there
her.
were crazy fans. I used to get secret gifts to my home. The people were getting my address from my website. My
Okay.
website was linked to all the social media platforms. For birthday, I used to get cakes. I used to get mangoes.
Did you know, was it a guy or a girl selling that?
Nothing. There was no name mentioned.
Okay.
Very simple. Nimma Abhimani.
Nimma Abhimani. Your fan in Kannada, basically. Amazing
And,
stories.
There was a time where I had, take a break from this 1 minute series. I met with an accident, and all of a sudden, the social media is silent.
When was this? Which year was this?
2021.
And you had already started this 1 minute series for almost 1.5 years now when this
Yes,
happened.
it had gone crazy. There were videos which had millions and millions of hits, and my YouTube crossed 100K subscribers. My Facebook crossed 85K followers. My Instagram crossed 30K followers.
A lot of
I had the
subscribers.
privilege of working with top brands like MG Hector, Ghana, whatever investment I had put in, there was answer for my wife.
Yeah.
The YouTube also got me some substantial revenue from all the ads that were running in, so it was really doing well. But there was a time where I had to take from all these because I met with an accident, and suddenly the social media accounts went silent.
Social media goes silent, no money again.
Not really. I was not worried about money
Mm.
because I was anyways teaching. The courses were doing well. So, as I told you, you have to venture into different places, not just one. The name and fame part of it, I realized the value of the fans when I said, okay, see, I posted my photo where I was on a hospital bed after surgery. I just posted this on a story, both on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
So, sorry, guys, I have to take a break from this series. The only reason is I met with an accident. I've undergone this surgery. I'll bounce back soon. One simple message. I had to post that. I have this screen sharing, which I want to show you this. I had tears that day. So this is the the number of replies that I received that day.
Amazing. So many of them just wishing you good recovery and so many things. Okay. Goes on and on and on. Amazing. What did that? What was that feeling? What?
I was awestruck. I was like, see,
So many of them.
38 seconds of scrolling. So that really got me, I have to get back stronger. People are really waiting.
Amazing. Yeah. Yes, but that experience was crazy. I'm sure.
So this is something you asked me about, the fan experience. So these are the fans who really who admire me, who wait for my work, right?
Right. Amazing, sir. Amazing. Now, before we talk about being a guru, I want to understand what kind of a physical strength or a mental strength is needed for a flautist, right? When I say physical strength, I've heard or I've read that you need to have great lungs, right? Because to play flute for hours together, you need good lungs because it's a wind instrument.
Right.
And also, what should be your mental state when you're performing?
Yeah. See, if, as you said, lung capacity is very important. You need to have a good breath control. A lot of pranayama exercises will help you have that. But yeah, that's mandatory. You need to have that.
And you have to be very, very disciplined
yes,
about it.
Very, very disciplined about it. Mentally, you need to be clean and clear. You can't fight at home and become creative on stage.
Yeah.
So whenever you are performing, just make sure you have a complete peace of mind. Nothing is running, no stress.
It's a mind game.
Yeah,
eventually.
mind game. Most of the times in Carnatic music, it is improvisation that matters. The composition is 5 minutes. There is an improvisation before that composition, which we call alap, where you can show what you are. So this improvisation is not planned or prepared. It is spontaneous, right? And there is an improvisation towards the end of the composition, which is called Swaragnana. Again, it is spontaneous, right?
Okay.
So these things to happen clean and clear, you have to have a clean mind. No fight, no stress, nothing. So mentally, you have to be really strong. Of course, as a musician, you will have a lot of traveling. You should take all those stress. You have to make sure the organizers understand these things. They suddenly ask you to come here, 4 hours journey, ask you to perform. They expect 100%. Things are not easy. So they have to make all the arrangements. They should understand the musician's mental strength, how much time he needs to recover from his travel, all those things. It's very, very important.
So I think we covered this earlier. So do you think you have good students right now? Do all the students have faith in whatever you teach them? Or
No, I would say it's not good everywhere, right? So you always have some cream. There are students who are very dedicated, who've been learning for quite some time, who also have reached the performance level, who started from zero, doing really well. Very, very happy about them.
Okay.
Yeah, very proud of them, So yeah.
Okay, great. Any names that you want to take out, maybe?
One guy is Pranav.
Pranav. Okay.
Pranav, he's really excellent. There's one more student from US, Sahita.
Okay.
So she has been performing now already. So
Hmm.
Pranav is he's like one of my favorite students. He's from Bangalore only,
Okay.
and he's the backbone of my 1 minute series. He plays the keyboard for my 1 minute series, and
Amazing.
he plays really well. I play something and he reproduces the same thing in next instance. So that talented he is. So
Years of practice, I'm assuming. A very naive question, sir. Can anyone learn how to play a flute, or you have to be blessed with that gift? That's a very naive question.
right, it's a little difficult to say this because I have students who started, who are not gifted in as a family background, who had parents with music background who started from zero and doing well.
Mm.
I have students from music background doing well also. So it's like it's a little difficult for me to answer this, you know. But anyone can learn it. It's
Okay.
not that no one can do it or some particular category only should do it. No, anyone can do it, but you need to have the dedication. A person with vocal training can do it faster.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one tip that I can give you. Anyone with vocal training, say a couple of years of vocal training, if he starts learning flute, he can learn 2x faster than others.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it would basically take a lot of practice to even know whether you can do it or not. It is not like you just pick up the instrument today and from tomorrow onwards you start playing. Just like how you mentioned how it took you 3-4 days to just
Get the
produce sound out of a flute. Does AI in any way pose a threat for you? When I say for you, for artists like you, for great talents like you, does it pose any threat?
If you ask me if it's related to social media, maybe yes.
Okay.
People can just extract different tonal qualities from AI and come up with their own versions and upload it on all the social media platforms. That can be a threat, but for live performances, I don't think it's a problem. People still want to see you perform live, not an AI.
Right. You don't want to ask an AI to just play it. When you pay so much money to watch a musician perform. Right.
Right.
Right. So but AI probably is still a threat, not for musicians only, but not, I wouldn't say threat, but something that will make people get out of their comfort zones because you have to learn new skills, as you mentioned.
So, as you said, AI voices of top personalities, the songs coming from their voices, the same way there could be a chance where you can get, different personalities' style of playing flute for different songs. But as I told you, this can only go on social media. I would be happy to see if what AI can do in my style. So,
Nice, nice. Where do you think the future is headed for musicians like you or for artists like you? Do you see a lot of challenges in future?
actually, music is an expansive ocean.
Mm.
So if you ask me, I'm just a bucket of water, right? So 32 years of experience is still
Still
a
a bucket of
bucket of
water, sir.
water.
Okay.
So there's lots to explore,
Mm.
lots to learn,
Okay.
a lot of challenges for everyone, not just me. So any newcomer, they shouldn't think this is it. This is an expansive ocean. There's a never-ending part of it. So
Never stop learning, basically.
never stop learning, never stop practicing.
So let's talk about your other aspects, sir. So we know you as a great performer, flautist. You're also a runner. You participate in a lot of running activities, half marathons.
Right.
What made you start doing that, sir? What made you choose running, and why do you get into this? Is it out of just passion?
Actually, at one point, I was completely overweight. I was around 80 kilos.
I've seen those old photos of you.
Yes, and really bad shape. Not having any energy to do my regular daily activities, and it was not looking good on me. Right. So I simply decided to run. Nothing motivating. I just wanted to run. So there was a small park around our home. It was in triangle shape. So I was running in one side, walking on the other side, running on the other side. That's how I started. So it became more consistent. I started running 3K, 5K. Then I started monitoring the time and became an addiction. I was able to see the results also.
Good addiction.
Good addiction, yeah. So I started losing weight. I was gaining more energy. Yeah.
Sir, a controversial question maybe. Do you think looks matter when you're a performer, or is it the talent that matters? Could be controversial, sir, but I just want to get your opinion.
Honestly, I would say talent is all it matters.
Right. Thank you. Sir, I think we've had some great conversation so far. Probably we'll just conclude with one last question. Earlier, we spoke of your family, your wife, and how your serial number was 49 and her serial number was 48. How important do you think is support from your family? You spoke of your father as probably one of the gurus, but your wife and your kid, how important has their support been in your journey? And how many sacrifices do you think they've made for you?
And absolutely, that's really very important. She has been my backbone right from college. So when I said I'm going to do this full time, without any hesitation, she said, "Okay, it's your choice. Do it." Very simple. She asked me, "Have you thought of all the other possibilities?" I said, "Yeah, there's no problem. We can do it."
Would have been very
Yeah,
difficult at
it
that
was
point
very
in time.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of sacrifices she has done. She has taken care of all the requests that I get on my website to reply, and of course, she has sacrificed many weekends for my sake. A lot of plans that I have said no, and she is totally okay with it. Yeah. Always the first audience. Yeah, earlier it was my mom,
Okay.
my dad. Now it's my wife and everyone. So of course, my parents, my wife.
You can't succeed alone, sir.
Absolutely.
So about learning flute, sir. I know you have some programs. Can you just talk us through those programs, sir? What kind of programs are they?
About learning, actually, I have a dedicated website where students. I have curated programs for absolute beginners who want to start their journey from zero. So I have this beginners program. The complete package is available. I have designed a website called carnaticflute.in.
Okay.
So it's not Sriharsha Ramkumar or any crazy names. It's carnaticflute.in.
Okay.
So anyone can visit this website and go through whatever I'm offering. And yeah, they don't even have to run around for the flute. The package comes with the flute as a complimentary this thing. So it's a clean curated program which is currently catering 1,500 students from 20 different countries.
Amazing. And this is for everyone. Anybody who is not played flute before, who doesn't know how to play it,
This is
to a
for
person who has some basic knowledge
Yes.
about it. Okay. Sriharsha, sir, once again, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I think some of the conversations that we had so far gave me good insights into what it takes to be a successful person, how difficult the journey can get at sometimes, but you always have to be in it and live through it to come out of it and have a great journey and a career like you. Thank you so much, Sriharsha, sir.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you.
That was the first episode for today. I found myself completely immersed in the conversation, walking away not just inspired but deeply moved. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as well. Let us know your thoughts on the episode and share any suggestions in the comments. If you have a guest in mind, please feel free to share the guest name and we will try our best to bring them on our podcast. If you gained any valuable insights and learned something new, please share this episode with at least one person. Hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all other social media handles. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for regular updates. This is Suraj signing off for now. See you soon.